My Love of Life Energy is a podcast created by Anna Scott. Anna knows that every human being sees life uniquely. In this podcast, she will talk to people and learn from them. These conversations are to shine the brilliance of each human being she speaks to. Join her. After each exploration, you will expand on your insights and see truth and beauty. Welcome to my podcast, My Love of Life Energy. And today I have, it's just an honor. Kim Dupre is with us today, and I met Kim through Hello Divorce. And I don't know if you've ever had this moment where you've met somebody and you're like, who is this person? And you wanted to know them and you could feel how special they were. And Kim ended up working with me, and I fell madly in love just with this soul, this being. And Kim is here with me today. So welcome, Kim. What a beautiful honor.
Thank you very much, Anna. It's just as much of an honor to me to have worked with you. And I completely resonated with you as well when I first laid eyes on you. And I knew something more was to come of it. And here we are.
And it keeps on unfolding. That's what's so...
Yes, it keeps on unfolding. That is the mystery and the wonder and the fabulousness of life.
You know, Kim, you are one of the, since I've come across this understanding and since my grounding has deepened, you were one of the first people who I kept pointing at something and you really saw it, what I was pointing at. And would you mind sharing what you saw and what your experience was? Because it blew me out of the water.
Well, it certainly blew me out of the water too. I walked around blissed out for the next 3 days after I experienced my first insight. And you were so gracious. And I kept asking you, well, what are you reading? And whatever you said, I read. And I went through The Exquisite Mind, written by the Rubenstein people, I believe. Bernstein. Anyhow, Rubenstein, Terry and Brian. And I was reading that book, and just all of a sudden it hit me. Kim, you don't have to be trapped up in all of your thoughts. Here's the key. Let yourself out, girl.
Oh, wow.
And I let myself out. I hear a lot of people refer to their insights as realizing that they weren't broken.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really think I was broken in that way. I just wanted out. I was so caught up in my head. Much like when Dick and Bettinger told this story about a little girl, and the little girl said, so who runs the thought factory? And Dickens said, you run the thought factory. And it's just been quite a ride so far. It deepens all the time with me.
So can you share, seeing that you can let yourself out of your own thought cage, how has it impacted your life?
It's a lot more freeing, because when I start to get up in my head, I always come back to, hey, get out of here. You're not stuck. Just look up at the sky, get out of there. Stop making up stories. I find that as a human species, we're storytellers. We have told stories from the beginning of time. And sometimes we believe the stories that we're telling ourselves, and they're just stories. We don't have to believe them, because it seems like it's difficult for us to stand in a space of nothingness and waiting, waiting for the next prompt.
That nothingness is my favorite place in life right now.
It's my favorite place in life too. And I try to go there daily.
It's interesting, this is probably TMI for people, is I was going to the bathroom and I was going to take my phone. And I just thought, I'm not going to do that. I just see how much like this technology, the phone technology, interrupts with the nothingness. And I'm so falling in love with this place because, if I get quiet enough, I know that something will come and it will guide me. Something's being created.
Yes. Yes. And it's in that nothingness where you find your life unfolding. Your life unfolds all on its own. You don't need to help it move along. It just is, and it just does.
So would you slow down there for a second, because you just dropped a truth bomb that is so profound. Life unfolds on its own. You don't have to do anything. I mean, we have to do something, like the energy will move us. But the more we relax and get out of our head, we can notice the life unfolding.
Yes.
And the perfection of it.
Yes. And we can also see when we try to move it ourselves that it doesn't work out so great. It's a dual-edged sword. You're in control, but you're not in control. And you just float like a little boat on the sea of life. And it takes you away. And it's fabulous. I was thinking a lot in the past couple of days about, in the Bible, the three principles say that there's mind, there's consciousness, and there's thought. Mind is God, consciousness is our self-awareness, and our thought is what animates us.
Yeah, it's how we create our reality.
Yes. And in the beginning, that's the first writing in the Bible, in the beginning. And then God said, let there be light. And he breathed life into us. And that's just mind-blowing to me. I mean, his spark or her spark or its spark, however you want to put it, dwells in us. We are divinity expressed in human form. We are eternity in flesh and bone, talking to one another right now. And
I was talking to Dickon this week because I was really struggling with my daughter. And for the first time, I saw that I'm human and I'm God. It's not an either or. It's the and, I'm both.
Yes.
And there was something so freeing in that, the word and or both.
And how creative is all of that? I mean, life energy is just, look at all of us. We're all expressions of it. And neither one of us are the same.
I know.
It's a constant creation that just keeps rolling forward.
Kim, my biggest wish, one of the things that I really love to do is remind people who they are and show them what gets in the way. And what I love about reminding people, what you just said is that, is that we're all unique. We all have our own unique way of expressing this life force energy, or the way it's expressed through us is unique. Like I can get into the being jealous of people and how they would do it, but I'm doing it Anna's way. This is just how I'm going to express it, how I'm going to see it. It's not right or wrong. It's just my way.
Exactly. And what beautiful expressions all of us are. And Joseph Campbell, I think, summed it up best. there are the many faces of God. We all put a face on it, but it's still God. Still God. And so we don't need to get all judgy and, but you can't put God in a box. So I'm not inclined to go sit on a pew every Sunday because it's too containing for me, because God's just too fabulous to stuff in a box, he just like, or she or the energy just seeps out. It shines out in the little cracks of the box. You cannot contain God. You cannot contain that energy.
What's so interesting is, weren't you raised in a religious or a strict religious?
I've experienced a very strict fundamentalist experience in my 30s. In my younger life, I just knew that there was God. I was only a child. I grew up in the woods, and my mother told me I had a guardian angel, and there were fairies and elves, and it dropped in my heart and it never left. And then I decided I need to conform, and I thought maybe I need to do this fundamentalist thing. And I sat there, and but the whole time I sat there, a lot of it wasn't resonating. And when the spirit hit them, you could maybe end up sitting on that pew for a couple of hours, and they'd go through the Bible. And especially in the New Testament, I'd be sitting there, and while they were up there, pounding on the pulpit, I'm going, wow, angels were walking around, and you didn't know whether or not you invited an angel to dinner, and there's a talking donkey, and there's sorcerers and witches and bushes on fire and Caesar party. This is some pretty fabulous stuff here. This is absolutely amazing. And it is. It's absolutely amazing. Angels walking around. Well, I believe that they are walking around.
Do you want to hear a wild story about angels or something? I got to share this story with you, what happened to me today. So I've been using the book Harold and the Purple Crayon and giving it to clients, because thought is the crayon. It's Harold's purple crayon. You can create your realities. You'll create the dinosaur in your own mind, and it'll scare you. And I gave it to this client of mine. And there was another book I'd been looking for, and I couldn't remember it. And I'd been racking my brains, and I forgot about it, but I wanted to get it because I have a set of children's books in my office that I use to kind of illustrate what we're doing, because I find that children's books, they're simple to the point. And I couldn't remember this book that I used to read to my kids. And this client walked in today, and she had that book that I've been looking for to give to me. And it's called Zoom. But I was looking down, and I'm like, what's that book and why? And she goes, oh, I thought you'd like this. And I'm like, it was like an angel walked in, heard my looking, and life delivered it to me.
Yes, I have things like that happen to me a lot throughout my life, and I love it. That's the sacredness. That's the wonder of life itself. It's beyond our physical form here, and I can feel energy. I feel the trees breathing. I feel that life.
Oh.
It's fabulous. It can bring me to tears sometimes. It's just so sacred to me.
You know what, Kim, is I think that we're both trying to do is that I feel like I've been trying to, and you too, trying to point people to this invisible energy that they can't see, to notice it, to know that it's there, and to feel it, to become aware of it.
And once you do, you cannot not feel it. I'm very sensitive around people. It's easy for me to read people that I work with, even though I don't see them. It's only in a screen through emails. I can feel them. I know who's the good ones and who are the ones that are struggling. I can feel all of that.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. And, I've had a lot of out of the ordinary experiences. When my mother and I were very close, And she fed the birds every day of her life. She loved the birds. And she always told me a bird should never be caged. You just have to let it fly. Fly. That's what it's meant to do. And I would say later on in life, well, when you pass over, you've got to tell me some way, somehow. We need to make a plan right now. So I will know that there's the other side, Mom. She passed away. The day she passed away, there was a bird singing so loudly. I mentioned it. I go, do you hear that little bird is just singing its heart out? Time passed. Long story short, my mother passed away. And then after her funeral, I had a bird come to my office window and peck. It would jump down from the branch and peck on my glass. It did it for 6 months. God is my witness. I ended up naming him Einstein. And I would just laugh every day. And I'd say, okay, Mom, I know you're here. I got it. I know you're making sure. I got it. 6 months of a bird coming up and tapping on my window. I got it.
Wow. Wow.
And it was my birthday not too long ago. And the day that you called me and I was feeling so badly.
Yeah.
And you says, why don't you just feel the love? And instead of translating it in your mind like I was and feeling so down. And the following day was my birthday. But after I hung up with you, I had gotten roses. I walked out and I looked down at the front door and there was one rose that had fallen off from the bunch. And I went, oh, Mom, I love you too.
Oh, God.
Those are all great. I just have had so many. I wish I could just tell the world, hey, you need to check this out. But I also know that everybody is their own flower and they all unfold in their own time. And so I just try to be, I spread kindness and smile and give them a little bit of joy.
I think that, God, I used to want to make sure everybody knew this and blah, 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 like kind of evangelical, or they had to know, or the information. And I think that what you just said is the best thing we can do for people. Is just be kind and love them, because all of this is in them anyway. You know, if they want to know, great. But there's nothing wrong or anything to worry about, because this is all inside of them.
And we're all on our way.
Yeah. Well, it's not even our way. We're all there.
We're all there. Yes, we're all there.
We're all
Absolutely.
Here. There's nowhere to get. There's no. It's just I forget sometimes.
You know, we get wrapped up in everyday life, and we do forget, but you don't forget for too long, because it always comes back. And then you go, oh, I'm so glad I'm back here again.
I think, and the other thing is that what I've seen, I don't know if you've seen this, now that I really understand, it's the feeling. Like I'm looking for the feeling. And like the thoughts, when I'm in a thought storm, it's become so much more painful, so much quicker. Because the contrast, and I get to notice it faster and faster and faster. And nothing's ever wrong. I just am noticing when I'm caught.
And I am very much more accepting now. If something doesn't happen that I want to happen, okay, it didn't happen. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But if it's meant to happen, it'll happen. So,
oh God,
I'll wait until it happens.
I have a story of that. I had put on solar because I wanted to do the right thing. I don't know if I told you this. And it was in January. And the city came out, they put the solar in, the city came out to authorize the new panel and the solar, and they wouldn't permit it because they wouldn't authorize it because I had an illegal in-law, and that was in January. And the city kept on sending out different planners or, the plan check people every time. And I thought, well, I wonder if I've just spent $50,000 for nothing. What a fool. And I thought, whatever it's going to be, it's going to be. I mean, I could get caught up. And swear to God, this beautiful man from Coda, the guy, worked with the city planners. They kept on redoing everything. And I just didn't freak out about it. And they finally approved it. It just took what it was going to take.
It's the whole let go, let God. I mean, that sounds cliche, but you just gotta let go.
Mm.
And
Kim, I'm curious, do people walk up to you for no reason because of your smile and your energy?
no, but they smile. They always smile back to me. And if I approach somebody and talk to them, if I open up a conversation, they'll talk to me. I think it would be great if people came and talked to me. Maybe I think. I mean, I would love to help people along, but I'm at my own crossroads in that I'm always kind. I love people and animals. I like to write. I'm going toward writing, poetry. I really like. I like testimonials. I like witnessing. And I'm just traveling along. I'll see what happens. Life energy has had my back always, and so I'm certainly not going to give up on it now. It's taken me an awfully long way. This entire 67 years I've walked this planet, and I have no doubt that it's going to stop. So I just go with it.
All I could say is that we're coming to the end, and you just said another truth bomb. Life energy has our back. It always has. And I think people don't see that or know that. And I can feel the ease and the relaxation that you have. And I think that that's what attracted me, is I knew that you knew something. And it's just that life energy has your back.
Always. We are that life energy sitting right here, just in another manifestation. We're all connected.
Kim, what a gift. I can't thank you enough. And if people want to read your work, or you want to share anything about work, they can read their work or anything. Are you going to be published soon?
I'm hoping. I'm working on a website, and we'll see what happens there. And I just like to publish on my website first, but I'm the more to come lady right now.
Good. Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing everything.
Thank you, Anna, for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it.